All right, so let's start this section here. We're going to get an early start on the HBS watch list together. It is 9:31, so it gives me maybe a good hour to get some subs. I already have some that I love that I want to get set up for us. First one we're going to be talking about is JBHT. JBHT. 1, 2, 3 channel, 1 pivot, 2 pivot, 3 pivot, parallel line. Once you establish 3 really good pivots, you make that parallel line, price comes down to it, combined with a divergence and a reversal candle.
Order pending.
Order pending here. So it's looking really nice. Just based off of that. I'll take a look at the weekly on that one. Weekly is just oversold too, and again, the infrastructure package is coming into play. Maybe there has a part of that, So that's definitely something that I like off of that lower trend line. I already got the big candle today, so kind of giving up that candle instead of buying into weakness, which you should always do in a situation like this, is buy right on that, because usually the next day proves itself just like it should. But you end up chasing it at that point. Oh, it's getting away from me. Then you get in here, and the next day it's down a little and chops up. But always buy into that weakness. If you see a good setup, you buy right into that. Even though it looks like it's continued to go, look at the average daily range. It's probably at the average daily range right now. So. And a nice reversal on that. So that's the first one that's going to go up on the list. I'll make a chart of that tomorrow. And again, if you have any stocks you want to go over, bring them up also. Rubbermaid, NWL, is coming out with earnings, I believe, tomorrow morning. Started to bounce off another trend line bounce the zone. It's a cheapie, and I don't tend to like, but it's also been, it's probably a good name, good brand name. Has a big gap up here. It has a trend line up at $18. I like this for upside. Love it for the upside potential. We'll see tomorrow if it is, if it gaps down. If it actually gaps down tomorrow, it's probably going to be a buy, depending on how bad the news is and what the news is about. And if it gaps up, well, it gaps up. So I think either way, tomorrow this has to be watched. Earnings will come out tomorrow morning. And, this, like I said, reversal or just a pop. It's moving tomorrow, one way or another. I would prefer the gap down and get that reversal and put a big divergence in. A lower low. This looks like it's pointing higher aggressively. It's going to have a hard time turning over. Even any type of gap down is going to be bought, and it's going to reverse. And before you know it, it'll be $17 off of maybe $13. Any type of breakdown on this, buying it. NWL, buying it. Unless, of course, the news is so horrible. They're filing for bankruptcy. Really like the setup there. So NWL. All right, so that's another one. I have
order filled.
NWL, JBHT. Of the infrastructure plays, I do like Fastenal better, FAST. I looked at it the other day, just because it's flagging out, and it's still flagging. It's on the 20-period moving average. Super strong. I mean, just have to catch a good pullback, and this might be as much as you're going to get. Right on that 20-period moving average, really fighting to stay above that. And considering the market was down today, this held at the highs, and it just looks like it wants to go higher. FAST. How do you trade it though? Well, it's not the ultimate area. It's not a divergence where you're going to get a huge move and you can try to run this thing. Definitely trading this like a flag, and looking for a bounce. Are we looking for a bounce through 71? Probably. Again, seems to be a little a little news-based infrastructure plan if anything comes into that. Watch this one. The negative on this is that we blew out of this top trend line. So a retracement back to this and back into the original pattern could happen, at least a retracement back to this area. I don't see myself getting in this, though. I honestly, I don't. I'm watching it. It's not going to end up on the HPS. Put this back on. I was just thinking what one of the biggest plays of the year I think could be. Believe it or not, I'm still going over it. I got options in it, and I think I made the same mistake. I bought options in Mattel when Deep Throat. What was that? Not Mattel. What was that? Was it Mattel? Or Marvel? Marvel it was. And I was a week early, and then it took off. And I think the same thing is happening right now in the Ford. Ford came out good earnings. Everything looks great. Got into some real cheap calls, but needed to get through that $10.50, $11. Get up to $11. And it's going sideways. Definitely expected this one to continue to just kind of move higher with the dividend yield on this. This seems like a no-brainer at this point. Broken the major trend lines, came out of a nice base. I think this starts just heading back up. I think there's some deals out there. Ford could be a big turnaround play for the year too. And with the dividend, maybe a little safety area too, where there might be some money coming into this stock if the market does get up near the highs. Or we do get a pullback after the deal, the China deal. So next level is 12. I see this moving up. I honestly see this moving up, and that's for a $10 stock, you're looking at a 20% move. Just to get us back up to 12, and that doesn't seem like a big stretch over this one. It's going to take time. It's a slow-moving stock. But you can see the stochastics have turned back up. They're embedded up here now. Just looks like there's a lot of strength. I saw some sellers get absorbed really, over the last couple of days. Have been following it pretty good. Just doesn't want to sell off. So I think it breaks through that 10.50 pretty fast, makes its way to $11, and you start looking at shares in this. I got my friend in this one today. Got him out of the market yesterday. So he's got to be happy that he didn't have to experience the pullbacks. So really do like the Ford. Ford is good. So again, I was just saying this. I just had to start the video up again. That's why I look at these quality names. The quality names react really well with these with the divergence setup that I have here, and I'd love just having that little spike on the chart. It helps me identify where that level is, and you can see there's only two there, so that looks good. So some you wanted some dividend APL. Holding some stocks. Applied Science. No, is that really one APL? I don't have one. I don't have that. EPR. Properties. All right. It actually has a nice appreciation in the price here. It's pretty nice. Retail. That's pretty interesting. EPR. How much is their dividend here? This is a very interesting stock. NLY, know that one. That's another REIT, right? That one got hit today. Stag. Industrial REIT. It's not bad. It's actually nice. Had the divergence signals here, back here, here. I haven't looked at those. CG. All right. As we watch the market here, not even looking at the 5 minute. This is 45, 30 to 15. This is almost a pretty good time frame for a 5 minute divergence. It might be a little short, and this candlestick here came out. It might have been a news candle, but the majority of that. But you're not seeing the divergence here. You're not seeing it there. All right, you can't see it because it's not on the 1 minute. But this type of pivot here, a move up, a pivot down, about 30 minutes to 40 minutes in between two pivots, usually shows up on the 5 minute as a divergence. And it actually is almost here. You can see it right here. And this is really our 5 minute shadow. When we look at the 60 period, you can start to see that divergence there. The problem is this candle officially is down low. People could probably get scared out of that, not knowing if that was caused by a flush or if there was any significance behind this candle. I would just scratch it out, use the lows, closing lows, and call this a 5 minute divergence right now. Let's take a look at the. Well, it's too late for me to get in, but just take. I want to look at the 5 minute time frame here. Now I'm on the other. I'm not recording this. I mean, I am recording, but you don't see it on the recording. All right, so here's your 5 minute candles. And it's very hard to see, but this candle, these two candles here, this red candle, this green candle, you can see the stochastic, those came down, took out the lows, but the stochastics never really rolled over here. So that's why we're looking at that as a divergence. And a pretty strong one. So watch for the upside. Trying to. So there's your upside now. Damn. Wasn't even really paying attention to this. Should have found, if we're paying attention to divergence, and let's say we're like hunters and we're sitting in a tree and you're just watching tick for tick. You're looking at the situation that's coming a couple ticks before, and you're planning out your trade. Like I planned out what I think how the market's going to top out with China news pushing its new highs and stochastic rotation over. If you want to have any chance trading these futures, you have to sometimes plan it out so you're on top of it. You don't want to be behind the eight ball. Sometimes these things pop so fast off the triggers. They pop so fast that you get in up here, and it just becomes harder. You really need to have understanding of the stochastic and start to see that or anticipate it a bit. You get the borderline. You're kind of walking a very fine line when you anticipate something and waiting for confirmation. So you wait for that first candle, and you got to be able to push that button, and then you're probably getting in around 17, a little above 17 and a half, 17 and 3/4. I think you probably get in on, and that went up to 19 and change. But you had to be fast, and being fast, you're not doing a radio show, so you don't have to worry about that. All you have to do is look at the setups and study them. Right now, there's no divergence to be had, so you can relax. But if you start to see a pattern start to form, then you can start to, just kind of straighten up in your chair and start managing and watching things and saying, all right, we're getting down to a lower trend line. I want to start paying attention. I want to, I want to see what I need to do this. Look, there's a bounce. The stochastic's way up here. If we flush here, I'm just talking to myself like I would be doing if I'd be trading. If we flush here, I want to get in because that's going to set us up as a divergence. And then we're right there. You see everything happening. You already planned it out in your mind, and then you're good to go. This right here, you can see the divergence is worked out. This is turned into a flag. Another thing you want to use is your candlestick counter, which is right here. And then that way you can time your candle. So you'll be able to see if that really is a reversal candle. Took out the lows, closed it on the highs. How much time do I have left in that candle? It looks like it's going to be reversal. I'll take my order now. Everything's set up. So you can start to anticipate these things and see some of the clues, but you have to be, you have to do it over and over and over again, and then it becomes second nature. I'm going to go over a couple other stocks. Stocks that I'm holding. I'm just going to go over some. We were holding the lumber liquidator, so we had a great trade on that. Popped, it's pulled back. I'm fine. I'm not looking at it again, but I wanted to get back into Grubhub, which we call the divergence. This was a perfect divergence from the other day. You can see that little pivot there, held above that 20 line. This came down, took out the lows after a big reversal. This pushed back up. We got through that. We took it off yesterday. Today we pulled back. We didn't get the lows. We didn't buy into it again. But I am considering this as a good setup. Again, now if we do get some pullback tomorrow, I'd watch this one. If it starts to hold this level, hold the 20-period moving average, or start moving higher, I want to be in this again. I want to go out a little bit further, probably get some options in it, and go out a couple months at least. So Grub is going to be on there. It's still looking pretty good. Stop underneath the 62.90. And what is that? 62? Yeah, 63 is fine. Under 63. Very nice. Let's take a look at the 60-minute time frame. Choppy. 5-minute. Nothing. But Grub definitely on my to-do list. Eli Lilly, we're holding LLY. Here's another possible divergence. It's not a textbook one, but we had that reversal candle. We had the closing price back here. We never really closed underneath it. We came down to it. But in relationship, remember we talking about a relationship of how the price moves versus the stochastics. We can start to pick up something. If there's a very close double bottom where the price comes down but doesn't take out the lows but comes close to it, but the stochastics don't move, that's a divergence, like right here. And then you see a nice move up. Here there was a double bottom, slightly higher low here above the 20 line, which qualifies for my divergence. And then you have a divergence signal, and look at the move up from there. Boom. Boom. Just a nice rotation, reversal candle, nice move up. So this is relative, the little gap down here. Got very close to taking out those lows, or at least, but we never even really turned over here too much on the stochastics. So we're looking for this to continue to move up as the divergence play. So that is, and I'm in that. So that's good. Oh, I'm going to start the video back up. So AMD looks great. Stochastic rotation. Barely any movement on the stock to the downside. That is a fantastic divergence in itself. Holding the 20-period moving average. Downside yesterday on the reversal, but powerful move back today, holding above the 20. This, I see this going back to new highs. Highs back here at 33. That looks good. One of the best looking stocks out there now. Tractor Supply Company. These are my flag plays, or stocks that are holding above the 20-period moving average as the stochastics rotate back down. So this is actually looking very strong. All these will be pretty strong stocks. Iron Zion. We'll go through them pretty fast. Snap-on Tools. Tiffany's actually looking at that, just consolidating. Excuse me. HIG. Heartfelt. That's looks nice also. PP&G. Little flag. Back here, same thing. Rotation, flag, push back up, rotation. Actually holding pretty good strength. Echo Labs, nice flag. Kansas City Southern Railroad, nice flag. Some banks. Fastenal, nice flag. Love that one. Applied Materials looking pretty good on a flag. Dover Corporation, very strong stock. Morgan Stanley, pretty strong. How many do we have here? 31. The other railroad. Smuckers. VeriSign. JP Morgan. All right. And the last, Wells Fargo. So a lot of the banks showing up on this scan. Even with Wells Fargo's all the way down here doing a dirt nap. Not that nice. But it is flagging out above that 20-period moving average after a nice little bottom move here. Didn't really see any weakness over the last 2 days. That's interesting. WFC. We'll write it down. One of the members passed this one on to me. CVM. Biotech that's going to have some FDA approval soon. Here's a daily chart on it. It does look very good. Deep Throat did a nice analysis on it today, or actually did an analysis on the other one I got into, AXGT. But we looked at this one too, and again, FDA stuff. I think they do neck cancer, brain cancer. I'm not even sure. It's again any type of. I'm not in this either yet. I'm watching it, but just to kind of put it out there, paying it forward. It does look good. It looks like something is brewing here. CVM. You can do your research. It said look up the last earnings or the last conference they did. The CEO explains everything, the whole pipeline, and everything's mapped out. With my arrow down, and I write down the ones that I come back to. So I just go fast like this. I'm just going to go through them real fast. If I see something interesting, I'll stop and mention it, write it down. Apple, still like it. I think we move higher. AAXN here. I'm not in it. This thing is one of the stronger stocks. Look at it trending off the 20-period moving average there. Very strong stock. AbbVie, again, pretty organized. Wait for the next signal on this. Accenture, not interested. ADM, always interested. It already popped. There's a divergence signal there too. Autodesk, not interested. And gone. African ETF, nothing. Aflac, very strong. Most of these stocks you'll notice are very good quality names. This is look at all these. Allergen here, beautiful flag. A lot of these stocks are still holding up really good. Amazon, nice flag. Air Products and Chemical, very strong day today. Wants to move higher. Tomorrow could be the day. APD. Lots of good stuff. Activision Blizzard, good. American Express, big flag. Not even affected by the markets the last couple days. The banking stocks, the credit card stocks. Nothing. This one, look at this one. Breaking out. AYX. Boeing. It's not moving yet, but it will. If we could get some kind of knockdown a little bit further, got to be all over that. I want to go into super speed now. Bristol Myers already been there, done that. Boom. Berkshire Hathaway climbing up. Budweiser. I mean, all these stocks are still very bullish. There's nothing really here that's really getting killed. Clorox, CLX. Possible divergence here. CLX. A big candlestick. I wrote it down. First interesting one. Chipotle never gave it up, coming back strong. ConocoPhillips here, coming back down to a trend line maybe. What is that underneath us? No, it's a piece of crap line. Just happened to be on some stupid random line. Corn. Don't like corn. Costco hanging in there pretty good. Would consider this a price stochastic divergence. A nice rotation, very similar to the one we were just talking about before. The AMD, I believe it was, where we had this nice rotation. This really not having a hard time giving it up. So if it's not going to go down, you can't beat them. Join them. Coop, awesome company. Capri Holdings, apparel. All right, nothing. CRISPR is also interesting. Credit Suisse, nice. Actually, nice flag. A lot of nice setups. There's that CVN, CVS. Data had earnings. Deutsche Bank. Oh man, they Quest Diagnostics, very nice pop. Disney, a little pullback here on Disney. Discovery pullback. Adobe, really tight consolidation. Got to move one way or another. Dunkin' Brands popped and dropped on earnings. Restaurants. Dexicom, there's the one. There's the diabetes drug. Tight stop favorite. Brinker, here we're watching it. And channel breakout. Echo Labs. Con Edison. Again, Equifax. Express Scripts no longer. Ford, like it, in it. Want to see this move. One of my favorites. Fastenal, love it. Facebook, interesting. Not trading it anymore. FedEx, looks good. I mean, there's not much. Look at this one. FN here, Fabrinet. Nice, beautiful. Just all nice flags. Looking at these stocks, underlying stocks, and seeing how most of them were holding up and seeing the pullback the last 2 days, I'm figuring these things are going to go higher and it's going to pull this market right back up, and then we're going to get our highs on the good news, and then we're going to sell off. But I'm still sticking with my call. A little further downside. Then some news, positive run to new highs. Stochastics momentum did not follow through. Turnover fast. We put in a big divergence sell signal, and it's a short-term top or a decent top that we could come back and trade off to the downside a lot more easier. So Johnson & Johnson, JP Morgan, Kellogg gap down, Cala Pharmaceuticals, Kraft Heinz getting hammered again. Robert Kraft.
Tradometer NQ overbought.
LABU, always like it. It's probably a good buy here. It's kind of a wedge pattern. It's oversold. It's a good trader when it wants to be. Lenore, Liongate Films. One that I am in that worked again, did not work out for me. Still have the options on it. Need a miracle, but it could have been something of a reversal today. Last time we saw a candle similar to this was back here in January. And then we had another one back here in April or March. Both of those led to some pretty decent upside. Now this candle, the tail on this is the first tail we've seen since this whole pullback. That's what we're looking for. A signal, a sign of a reversal. This is maybe the first sign. The average move off of this level. I wouldn't say it's average, but that last move was a 30% move in the stock. And then from this one, basically was a 14% move. So, a 10% move on this would be $14 in that area. I could see that. It's a 10% move. This is key. This candle here could be the thing we were waiting for. Just was a little bit better. I would definitely consider to put this on the watch list. Just looking at the results of those candles. All right, definitely going into next week. And that Eli Lilly, Lululemon's holding good. All these looking good. Macy's not looking good. Who cares about that? Mattel, it's interesting. McDonald's pulled back a flag, perfect flag. Mondelez breaking out. Market here looks very. Here's 3M. 3M here is 5 to 7 day pullback. Oversold. Could be a buy soon. 3M. Altria all over the place. I'm not trading the tobacco. Mosaic has gotten hit here. There's Nike, great short. We nailed that short, huh? You know what I liked about that, again, relative to what we like to see, relative divergence when we have maybe a very close divergence where the price comes down or moves up, but the stochastics never move up. So we kind of got a little bounce here, and we started rolling over. We never even got a bounce on this, and I was like, just starting to feel that weakness come in. We just happened to catch it perfect. So first time we get a nice 2-day pullback in Nike in a while. Happy about that. New brands tomorrow. Could be a nice mover tomorrow on a gap down. That's the big one. I'll leave you with that because I got to get out of here. But I'll leave you with that new Rubbermaid. NWL tomorrow, gap down. We're buying it. All right. Just put a lot of stuff here, but I want to get this video out to people, other members who were not able to join us tonight and have something to research tomorrow morning. So let me get that out for you. I'm still here with you for a bit. Let me just stop the video.